All right, everybody. Shows that we are live. And I guess I can turn this on now. Yeah. If you're listening, you won't be able to see it. But actually, I have a EL wire, little bow tie, and suspenders that's in Bitcoin orange, which I thought was fitting. So today's episode, I wanted to talk about things that are going to be changing in the podcast and why I am going to be changing them. And so, actually, if you watch this, it's kind of cool. I thought I can make it blink. I might stop that. It's probably going to get a little bit annoying for people eventually, but I just want to do a quick update on what is going on with the podcast. If you listen to this last week's episode, it was Professor Ethan Siegel on the beauty, or the title of it was The Beauty of the Universe, and it was about astrophysics. It was about the Big Bang. It was about cosmic inflation. It was a lot of, basically, it was probably some of you have been asking, why, this has nothing to do with Bitcoin. What is this all about? So, and I realized that a couple months ago, 2 to 3 months ago, I'd started to rebrand, actually maybe a little bit longer than that. And I'd rebranded it to the Did You Know podcast versus the Did You Know Crypto podcast. That was actually for two reasons. One was the larger, bigger one was the fact that I realized that I am still, totally passionate about Bitcoin and love it, and think that it is one of the bigger things that, if not one of the biggest things that has come about in our lifetime, as far as for being able to make, drastic changes and shifts in society and culture. But I realize that there's a lot other, there's different things that are going on right now as well. And I'm actually going to turn this off. Sorry. It'll just stay straight on. And I realize that there's other shifts and things that are going on right now. And that's kind of with the John Vervaeke episode 48, I believe, where we talked about the meaning crisis. And there's a little bit about Bitcoin as well. But I realized that right after that episode, there's some other really big cultural and societal shifts that are going on, that have been going on, but we're really kind of seeing a lot of this stuff kind of come to fruition at the moment now. And I realized that I want to talk about them, but I went like, oh, with John Vervaeke, I brought Bitcoin in there, but I was going like, there's other things that I want to talk about. And it's going to be kind of weird to have a Bitcoin podcast and be talking about things like astrophysics, to be talking, some of it's tangentially related, or it's running parallel with Bitcoin and these shifts in society. But I realized that some of the stuff was going to have absolutely really no real connection with Bitcoin. Loose connections, like I said, but it'd be a real stretch, and it would seem really, it seemed really weird for me to try to stretch to get some of this stuff to go, well, it's kind of Bitcoin related because of, and I wanted to explain this, and I wanted to be able to expand my focus to, those subjects like I just mentioned, these shifts, but also, I mean, with astrophysics, it's just things that I'm interested in. And I have a platform, and I'd like to talk to these people, and I'd like to share these conversations with you. And, at the end of the day, which I'm sorry, I hate that, I hate that saying, but I use it all the time. It's, it's my podcast, and I would like to be able to pursue conversations that I feel are interesting. So I will be doing that. Coming up at the end of November, I'm going to be talking to another person about, memes, but not as just in, the pictures of them, but the mimetic tribes, this kind of this idea of proliferation of ideas, and the tribal societies that are forming around these ideas, these memes. And we'll explain in that episode the difference between kind of the colloquial meme, the bad luck Brian, the older ones, or Pepe, or these other kinds of memes that we see shared around the internet. There, that memes themselves are actually just much larger concepts. And I wanted to, share things like this, and that actually has some overlap definitely in Bitcoin. But I wanted to bring things like this that are not directly Bitcoin related or whatever, and kind of share a larger picture of these shifts that are going on in society with you guys. And that's why I kind of rebranded to Did You Know? I would guess that probably about 80 to 90% of my content going forward here is still going to be Bitcoin related, but I want to bring in these other things that relate to Bitcoin, and then just interesting topics as well that I think people would be interested in. For, if you look at the website at didyouknowcrypto.com, I'll probably be shifting to a new website as well in the future to really go with this rebrand, but I haven't gotten around to actually completely backing up the website, shifting it over, and then going through the long process of going through all my old episodes and YouTube and social media postings, and other than on Twitter, I can edit them and change them. And I kind of want to really set that up so I have a few days to really buckle down, do all that at once. So eventually that's going to change, but there'll just be if you forget what the new one is or whatever, there'll just be a 503 redirect, so that even if you do go to didyouknowcrypto.com, it'll just redirect you directly to the main page. Or if you click on, say, episode 57 of the podcast at didyouknowcrypto.com/EP57, it'll just direct you to episode 57 on the new one. So, but anyways, I wanted to share with you why I was deciding to do this, and it will be, I don't know. I think it's going to be really, really good. I think it'll be open up a lot more, avenues of thought, and we're going to delve into topics of personal meaning. We're going to delve into topics of psychology, of health, and all these things that kind of help you kind of understand these shifts, and also to just be a better person and better prepared for these sorts of things. So that's kind of the reasoning behind me doing this shift and doing running out into these new areas of thought and idea. And I think it's going to be really good. And I'm really excited to do that. And yeah, that's kind of all I really had to talk about. I have some really cool guests that are coming up. Like I said, we're going to be talking about mimetic tribes. There's going to be a couple actually episodes on that, because I think it's a really important topic to hit on. I'm going to be working out introductions to philosophy and Stoicism. And we're going to have a couple of professors on to talk about that, just to kind of get a better idea about that. And then really going to be diving continually into this concept of the Bitcoin cult, the religion. And if you haven't been listening to these episodes, it's not the point of religion in these terms is this idea of binding together a society, binding together a culture. And Bitcoin definitely has a culture. It has competing cultures and competing cults. I disagree with Vin Armani on this, in that it's a religion yet, because it's one of those things where there's not a specific number of followers or a specific milestone that must be reached to consider it a religion, as far as a bound together collection of people who have a common, ritual that they practice, a belief system that binds them together towards a common goal. And we see cults and religions all around us. Nations themselves are a cult if they have, the cult of America is very much a cult. If you think about it, we pledge allegiance. We have this common goal that we're supposedly working towards. We have symbols, we have rituals, we have all these sorts of things. So it mimics and is a religion in that sense. But I don't think Bitcoin has really reached it yet. It's definitely a cult in that there are these emerging dogmatic belief systems. There's these emerging rituals, and we even have our own holidays and all these sorts of things. But I don't think it's really reached religion yet. Like I said, there's not a set thing that it reaches there. It's just more of a personal opinion sort of thing. So I'm going to continue to be doing that. I'm going to be doing a lot more on YouTube and doing a lot more live streams outside of the weekly update. Those will continue every Friday or every Thursday night, going live on the podcast and audio format. And I'm going to be working on producing a lot more content and just kind of more freewheeling conversations around a specific concept or question or something like that. So if you guys are watching right now or listening on the podcast, to whatever it may be, feel free to reach out on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, through email, or just, you can comment in YouTube as well. And just get a hold of me and let me know what things that you would like to have covered or what you'd like me to talk about or give my thoughts on. Please hit that subscribe button. If you're watching right now on a desktop, it's going to be in, oh, kind of, this is awkward. I can't point. It's going to be in this corner right here. And if you're watching on mobile, it's just going to be just below. If you're listening, please subscribe, leave a rating review on iTunes or whatever podcasting platform that you listen on. And also go to supportmypodcast.com. You can find other ways to support, but for you can actually find some really cool discounts I've been putting together. I've got Trezor, I've got Keep Keys, I've got Links Art for Bitcoin and other just, regular, really cool art pieces. I've got Bitcoin.tax, so you can take if you're doing taxes, which is going to be coming up here pretty soon, you can take 10% off using my promo code. And these are absolutely free. Mushroom Coffee is another one. I'm going to be adding some other. I've been trying to work through UBI keys, another one that I've been with a 2-factor authentication, actual physical device. And I'm working on some other health related stuff for getting like MCT oils and other things like that. And I'll continually be expanding it. And it's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is go to supportmypodcast.com, click on the listener supported discounts. There's going to be a pop-up asking you to go on my email program. All I'm going to do with this list is I am going to update you on the new discounts. Also reach out and see if there's anything that, supporter listener discount related. I'm not going to email you about the podcast. I'm not going to try to sell you ebooks. At some point in the future, I'll probably blast this list and say, would you mind, and just say you could sign up for my email list for the website to get all the website and podcast related stuff. But I will never directly sell or, to this list and support my podcast. You don't actually have to sign up for it, but I'd ask that you do. So head over to supportmypodcast.com. Didyouknowcrypto.com is where you can find all my social media profiles and all the other things. I really appreciate you guys listening and, have a great night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.